episode number 20, and we are delighted to have Jeff Sullivan back with us again. He is an amazing night landscape photographer, and tonight we're going to learn about shooting the moon. And we also have a special guest from out in the Mediterranean. So we'll start with introducing our panel members, and then Jim Worthman will be introducing our guests. And I'm Cara Riley, small business consultant and founder of the Photo Tour Global Directory website. And we'll go right over to Carmel, California, and we'll let Tom introduce himself. Hi, Tom.
Hi, Cara. I'm Tom Hurl, and I'm an amateur photographer in Carmel, California. I'm a curator on the landscape photography theme, and that's it.
Great.
Pass it over to Kevin.
He's an amazing photographer, very shy, but just incredible. And then we have Sheila DuBois. Sheila.
Hi there. I'm in Utah, and I'm a very amateur photographer, and I am a curator for landscape photography.
That's great. Okay, and we'll introduce Kevin here, also from Utah.
Yeah, so I'm in Utah in the Salt Lake Valley, and I'm an amateur photographer as well, and I work on the landscape photography theme, and I also own the Utah photographers page, and that's not only for just Utah photographers, but anyone that has pictures. If you visit Utah, we'd love to have you come over there and share with us. And that's it. Thanks.
Oh, wonderful, Kevin. And now we're going to get here to Jim Worthman from Phoenix. Jim is also a curator, and we're happy to have you here, Jim.
Thanks, Cara. Yeah, I'm also an amateur photographer and do mostly landscape work, color and black and white. Like Cara said, I'm based in Phoenix, so have lots of great landscape opportunities in the area. And I curate in the landscape photography theme and moderate in the landscape photography community.
Great. And now we'll let you introduce our wonderful guests.
And you know, this is going to be real short and sweet because I don't want to take too much time away from Jeff Sullivan, and we have Rafael and German, whose name I never can pronounce right, but the team from PhotoPills. And so I've had a preview, and I'm really excited about the presentation Jeff's going to give us about especially moon photography, moonrises, moonsets, and really excited to hear about the PhotoPills software that Jeff uses. So with that, Jeff, take it away.
Okay, Jeff.
Hi, my name is Jeff Sullivan. I am a professional landscape photographer living in the Eastern Sierra, right on the Nevada-California border. I lead workshops in Death Valley, Yosemite National Park, the Eastern Sierra, and night workshops out at Bodie State Historic Park. And I'm allergic to the rabbit brush that's blooming up here, so I'm having trouble with that. I'm on the verge of coming down with bronchitis, I think. It's crazy, but it's worth it. It's great to live up here. So, yeah, we have Rafael and German from Menorca joining us, and they're going to be demonstrating the software in a little while. But first, I'd like to go over moon photography just briefly. Let me get the window going here.
Hey, Jeff. Jeff, real quick.
Yes.
Real quick, if we can just go over our show starters.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, right. Sorry, go ahead.
So let me do that, and I'll pass it right back to you, so you can just
absolutely
start getting ready. So I'm going to just share my screen here, and I believe this first one. Whoops, sorry, I shared the wrong screen.
There's Rafael and German. Hello.
Hi. Try that again. Okay.
what Jeff is, or what Kevin is looking for, okay, are show starter shots. And I believe...
This is you, Cara.
Yeah, okay. This was an interesting moonshot. What we have on our event page is we encourage people that are coming to the show to share some photographs of our content. And this, to me, was a very appropriate for the season, kind of Halloweenish. And this was Andreas Don During, and he's with Art Nerd Photography in Erning, Germany. So, Andreas, I thought this was a great shot with the clouds, and then also having the silhouette of the leafless trees. So, thanks, Kevin.
Yeah. And I think this is Sheila. Sheila's pick.
Yeah, that is.
Did you want to say anything about it? Yeah,
one of them. Yeah.
Dave.
I just really like the colors. I mean, and the reflections on the water. It just popped. You know. So.
Yeah, Dave's a great photographer. Great pick.
This is Dave Tomac from Australia, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I can't remember if that's Jim or Tom.
Yeah, I think that one's mine. It looks like Tommy Lim.
Yep.
And you know, I saw that, and I loved the reflection, the long exposure that kind of calmed out the water, made for a nice smooth reflection, and I loved the high contrast in it.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Jim. And Tommy contributes every week or every show, so we appreciate that.
Yes.
And Tom, I think.
Yes, this is mine. This is from Miguel Almeida, and he's a very talented Spanish photographer. I really like the colors he got in here. I like the headlights and taillights, and I like the detail he has, so the shot appealed to me.
Great. Jeff.
Okay, back to Jeff.
This is a shot by Chris Whiting. It was taken in Bodie. This is the Bodie Firehouse. We had about 5 or 10 minutes before the moon had come over the horizon, so I was running off trying to get another shot. We wanted to be here for the moonrise.
The blue box is not changing. All right, talk, Kevin. Maybe we need you to talk.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
No, okay.
The blue box won't go back to the shot. Let me try this. I'll move it over here.
Are you having trouble seeing it?
Yeah, the blue box wasn't taking. There we go. Now it's taking.
Oh, okay. Well, basically, we arrived in this location a few minutes ahead of the moonrise, so I ran off to get another shot. What I hadn't noticed is that we had the rim fire going in Yosemite, just over the Sierra Nevada, and there was just a very light plume of smoke above us. It was thick on both sides of Bodie, but right in the middle above us, it was really clear. So the moon's been shining its light through those clouds you see behind the firehouse there, so it did these moonbeams, these crepuscular rays at night, and it was a pretty amazing shot. He walked over and showed it to me. I got a couple of shots from where I was, but I ran over here and it was gone by the time I got back here. So I wanted to show this off because it's a great shot and I'm jealous of it.
Yeah.
It is awesome.
I shared that shot with the event because it's so cool. Yeah. Never saw moonbeams like that.
And then
okay, we're back to you, Jeff. So take it away and tell us about moon shooting.
One more, Cara.
Oh, one more.
Yep, this is Kurt Harvey, and this was the one I selected. And this is Yosemite Falls under a half moon, so using the moonlight to light up everything, and it's just a great shot with the star trails and the waterfall there. So, okay. Now, back to you, Jeff.
Okay.
Okay.
Very nice indeed.
I think the pre-show gremlins got me all shook up here. All right, Jeff. Oh.
There. Are we good?
Yep.
Yes, we see the moon in the tree shadow.
So basically, I wanted to go over the type of progression that many photographers go through as they're starting to take night shots and moon shots in particular. At first, you get the moon almost by accident, where it happens to come up or it's in your shot, and you do the best you can. Eventually, you start to find more opportunities. You realize, well, when the moon's really bright in the middle of the night, the rest of the excuse me, the rest of the landscape is pretty dark. And then you also try different moon phases, and you may even notice that when you have a very thin sliver of a moon, it's because the sun is on the other side of the moon. Well, that means that the Earth is lit up to the moon. So there's a full Earth if you were standing on the moon, if that makes sense. So the lightness on this moon shot is the Earth shine. The light bounced off the Earth, shining on the shaded portion of the moon, and you can actually get a pretty good view of the different features on the moon. So continuing, you might try lunar eclipses. This was one of my first attempts. I had 2 cameras, so I did one with a star trail, and then I erased the smear of the moon and replaced it with still shots that I took on my second camera. This is another lunar eclipse where the moon is during the eclipse and it's close to sunrise during the blue hour. So the moon is red and the twilight light is blue. And this is another eclipse photo more in the middle of the night. In a lunar eclipse, when the sun is behind the Earth, that's what blocks out the light on the moon. But the light coming around the Earth, you figure it's essentially a sunrise all the way around the Earth. It's a red ring around the Earth because the sun's light is coming through the Earth's atmosphere and then continuing on to shine on the moon. So it's like an infinite number of sunrises all at once, and all that light keeps going off to the moon, and it comes back at us as a red moon. So it's pretty cool. Then other times, you know, maybe you try to plan for a moonrise, but you realize that the moon came up too late, so it's basically whited out if you get the landscape exposed well. So you continue on, and every once in a while you get lucky. The moon comes up in a beautiful landscape at the right time where the landscape is still a little bit lit by the sun. The exposure works for everything, and if you zoom in a little bit, you get a really cool shot of a bigger moon because you've zoomed in, and the feature on the landscape that you want to focus on. In this case, it's Half Dome in Yosemite National Park. So what if you could do that on purpose? Well, another accidental shot that I got was at Mono Lake. It has these exotic calcium carbonate tufa formations that form in the lake from springs. And I saw the moon pass them, and I said, oh, if only I had a longer lens and had planned ahead and had the right conditions, this would be a really cool shot. So I went back in future years, started to do a little bit more planning. Originally, I was using just tables of degrees and moon times, rise and set times, sunrise and set times. There was a website, actually, there is a website that the U.S. Naval Observatory has that has tables of all the moon and sun rise and set times that you want for the year. That's a little tedious to work with because sometimes the moon has to be a little higher, clear the horizon like these mountains. The angle changes as it rises and as the night goes on. So there were more sophisticated apps built on top of maps that could point to the moon at any time from the time it rises all the way to when it sets and point at the sun. So doing that, using that type of app, you can do these kind of lineups. But it gets a little more complicated because sometimes, let me show a few more examples of this first. So I went back again and again. This was in 2009. Moon coming over the horizon at just the right time. You can see it's still in the orange part that the sun is reaching. Just below that is the shadow of the Earth. And to have enough light, you want the moon to come up at sunset, just a little bit before sunset, because you want a lot of this light to be on the landscape. And that way you can get a single exposure and it balances everything out pretty well. Now going back to get it again, here the moon was just a little bit later. You can see it's in the shadow of the Earth, so the landscape is a little bit darker, and it was much harder to get detail on the moon. And this was yet another time, and this time I had clouds, so it came up later. But it's still, you know, it's a little different every time, but it always comes out pretty cool. Then you can even do time lapses. Let me see if this is... yeah, this is the video when it comes up. It's fighting my my Hangout bandwidth, I think.
Oh, the video might be real tough, but
it's not very high resolution. I think it's going to play. Let's see if it goes. Can you see it?
Yes.
It's very faint. Oh yeah, we see the moon. There you go.
I will. Now that it's cached on my machine, I'll back it up and try to play it again. See if it'll play from the start. So basically, I took a sequence of shots, and that showed, when you put that together in a video, it shows the clouds moving and the moon rising and so forth.
Very nice.
So there's a lot you can do, even with
That's really
the
cool.
Yeah, it is very cool. Now, progressing from there, maybe you want to put the moon, if you're in a city or where you have some landmarks, maybe you want to put it by some landmarks, like the Golden Gate Bridge. Or here's another case, Half Dome in Yosemite National Park. This can only be taken right around New Year's, and I got this in January when the moon is about as far north as it gets. And this isn't usually available because it was taken from Glacier Point, which is usually snowed in by now. Not by now today, but by that time of year. And kind of the holy grail for moon alignments is when you can get it right behind or on top of something exactly where you want it. This was a weather vane on top of a courthouse in Auburn, California. It was originally a capital of the state before it moved to Sacramento. And here's another case. This is that Bodie firehouse again. Caught the moon underneath the bell. And here's a real thread the needle example. I decided to try for catching at. Once you've done a few regular moons and a few lunar eclipses and a few alignments, you try to get crazy and put them all together. So I decided to try to do a lunar eclipse at 3 in the morning on top of the Transamerica building. Now, you would guess from this picture that I didn't get it, but let me show you another angle I caught it from. And I planned it pretty well. I actually got it so that the moon was centered on right on the tip of the building, but I forgot to take into consideration the width of the moon, so it ended up that the moon was centered on the tip of the building instead of resting on top of it. If we have time, I'll show you a time-lapse video later that shows the moon approaching and going through the top of the building.
Very nice.
And sometimes you can't get exactly what you want. I was hoping to get the moon here. This was just last week. The tall, pointy mountain on the left is Mount Whitney, the tallest mountain in the lower 48 states. And I was hoping to get the moon setting behind it, but this month, or last month, the moon was inclined to set more north, more to the right. And if I moved myself further south to try to get the moon by Mount Whitney ended up tucking itself behind those ridges in the foreground. So I had to settle for this. And I did a time-lapse of this as well. So the moon moves from kind of the upper left corner and then eventually sets over on the right. So I think that's probably enough for me for right now. Maybe we can go to Rafael and Carmen and see if they can show us exactly how you work out these alignments in their application PhotoPills. They had some great examples for us last night. Are there any questions before we go right to the demo?
Those are beautiful moon shots, Jeff.
Thank you, Cara.
It makes us all inspired to want to shoot the moon.
You know, it's neat with some of the shots. So I was going to say, with some of the shots, the light just gives the moon a really three-dimensional effect. It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really fun when you can get everything in balance, because it's so hard most of the time. And in the middle of the night, for example, the moon is just so much brighter than the rest of the surroundings. It's great when you can get it all all just right.
Well, great. Okay, so how about we'll let you introduce Rafael and Harmen.
Well, they are two of the three people creating the PhotoPills software. They're south of Spain on the island of Menorca, which is between Mallorca and I guess it's Sardinia.
That's right.
The Catalonia region of Spain. So will you guys be independent pretty soon?
No. I don't think so, but...
Okay, well, who knows? You never know.
Who knows?
So with that, are you guys ready for the demo? I'd love to turn it over to you and see what you have.
Okay. Well, hi to everyone. I'm Rafael.
And I'm Germán.
And we will try to explain how to use our PhotoPills app to plan the moon. So what we wanted to create with this app is a way to help photographers to plan any photo they imagine with any light conditions they wanted, and with any photo with the moon, the sun, the Milky Way, or star trails. So, for example, we've been planning and shooting these photos you see here.
They're beautiful.
They were shot by...
Wherever that is, I want to go there.
this is Menorca. And as we are beginners, we have a friend who is a good photographer. His name is Antoni Cladera. And well, he's helping us with the shots. This is a sunset under a natural bridge here in Menorca called the Spondengil. This is the same photo.
Now, where is this located, Rafael?
I'm sorry?
Where is those shots? Where were they taken?
They were taken in Menorca, in the island.
Oh, on your island. Okay.
Yeah. And it's a very famous natural bridge here.
Yes.
That's his name. Its name is Spondengil. It's a Catalan name, so it's a bit difficult to say it in English.
And tell us what time. I think our listeners would like to know the time difference for you. This is very early in the morning, right?
Yes, it is indeed. Now it's
half past 4.
Half past 4
a.m.
Oh, half past 4. Oh.
So we got up at 2 a.m.
And we have all those gremlins, and we really appreciate it. These are pretty pictures, and looking forward to how to use the app to plan your sun and moon.
Yeah, and I hope you understand our English, because we are Spanish, and you know, sometimes it's a bit difficult for us. So, well, these are the sun shots, but we can also use it to plan star trails, Milky Way, and moonshots. We're going to focus today on the how to plan the moon. So you have a few shots shot by Antoni Cladera. This is a lighthouse here in Menorca called Favarich. Another moonshot from the moon, just hiding behind the biggest mountain here in the island, which is not very tall. And, well, another alignment with the moon and the composition with the horse. We shot on the 23rd of June this year.
Wow. You could just Photoshop those rear ends out.
This is not Photoshop.
There's no Photoshop.
Yeah. It's very easy to plan with PhotoPills, so... Okay. If you agree, we can start with the demonstration.
Yes.
Okay. Well, this is PhotoPills. You can see that you have many options. But today we're going to focus the attention on the planning tool. You see the planner here. So just tap on it. And we'll try to plan a moonset under the natural bridge of Spandangeel. But Herman, we can show the picture of Spandangeel again?
Yes.
We got a picture with the moonset, with the sunset there. We're going to show now.
We have a question from Tommy.
Yeah.
Hi, Tommy. Wanting to know if you support the Android version in the future, or is this just the iPhone right now?
Well, now it's just for iOS, for Apple. But in the future, we will do it. We will develop it for Android. We are a really small team. We're just working in our spare time. So Herman is the master in programming, and we maybe by the end of 2014.
2014, yes.
What do you think, Herman?
Hope so.
Okay.
I think that's probably a big question with the people here on the Google Plus Hangouts, because the Google Plus, there's a way bigger percentage of people that use Android versus iPhone. Yeah. So I'm glad you said that you're making it, and we'll look forward to it.
If we haven't got it now, it's because we haven't got the time to develop it, but we want to do that.
Yes, it's one of the questions we get the most, I think.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Well, this is the place, Spandangeel, with the sunset. We want to plan it, but with a moonset. So
let's go to the PhotoPills.
What we will do is to use our planning tool. The first thing to do is to load the location. We did scouting and location scouting, and we saved Spandangeel as a specific location on our database. So we will load it.
Yeah, the red pin. Explain what's the red pin.
Well, the red pin is the observer's pin. So we will place it on the spot from where we want to shoot the photo. So, first thing, load the Spandangeel. We look for it in our database. Yeah, here we have it. Okay. This is the location. The red pin now is just on this bridge, this natural bridge. And we will place the observer's pin, the red pin, just right on the spot from where we want to shoot. There is only one single spot from where you can see the horizon through the bridge. So this is it. Now, let me explain first the lines you see here on the map. The yellow and orange lines show you the azimuth of the sun. The yellow one is the sunrise, and the orange one is the sunset. And the blue lines, the thick ones, show you the azimuth of the moon. The light one is the moonrise, and the darker one is the moonset. And the thinner lines show you the position of the moon and the sun in a specific time. So let's plan it. You'll see that it's very fast. First thing to do is to use the find option. The find button you see in the option you have at the bottom of the screen. So let's tap on the find. Now you can choose to look for a sun or a moon. Let's choose the moon, and we will choose to look for a moon at an azimuth and elevation, because we know the direction of we want, and that elevation is 0 degrees. So the blue pin that you see now, we'll use it to set the azimuth of the moon. So let's use it. Let's place it on the natural bridge. Now we have the azimuth of the natural bridge where we want the moon to set. This is 240 and 46 degrees. Next step is to set the elevation. As we are looking for a moon set, we will set an elevation of 0 degrees. And we previously set the day range, starting today and finishing in 2 years, because we want to set a period of time to look for the results. Well, that's it. We just set the moon conditions, the moon position we want, and we will tap on the magnifying glass icon you see at the top, on the right-hand side, to start the search. Well, this is the table of results. This is a table showing you all the possible dates and time that the moon will be setting under this natural bridge here in Menorca. The table also shows you the moon phase and the light conditions you'll have. You see, for example, we can sort the table by moon phase if we are looking for, which is easy to look for example, a full moon. The orange color you see here tells you that this moon is setting during the golden hour. So we will have really nice conditions for the shoot.
The background color explains you the natural light conditions, the position of the sun. The orange one is golden hour. The light blue is daytime. There also the dark one, that's nighttime, and there the purple ones and blue ones are the twilights: blue hour, civil twilight, nautical twilight, and astronomical twilight.
Yes, as we are looking for a full moon setting during the golden hour, because we will have the best light conditions, we can tap one of the results. You see that is not happening very often, this shot.
Yeah.
Because the results, this is the beauty of PhotoPills. You can really plan the ideas you have ahead of time. So you can have a bunch of photos planned, very creative ones, to shoot. Now, as you see, yes?
I was going to say, I think that's what's exceptional here. There are tools that will let you say, well, if I want this shot, you know, with this azimuth on this date, where's the moon going to be? Where's the sun going to be? And you know, they're kind of static. You can look at a particular situation, but what PhotoPills is doing, which I think is excellent, is letting you set the conditions up and then search for which days would I see those conditions. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's the improvement. I mean, with PhotoPills, you can go day by day looking for a specific shot if you want, like other tools do. But we thought that, I mean, we don't have time to spend long hours looking for a specific shot. We thought a way that you could test if your ideas were possible or not. So we came up with this idea, which is pretty practical. And you say you can plan a unique shot in just a few minutes.
So we had a question, and I'm sure our viewers would like to know, what is the price in US dollars for the PhotoPills?
It's $9.99.
Okay, that's a real great value.
Pays for itself in one shot.
I mean, you can save you can boost your creativity. I think it boosts your creativity and saves time on the way.
Saves a lot of gas too, driving around.
Yeah, and as you see here on the screen, we got the right alignment with the moon set. With the moon set. If we can zoom in. So now we have just to pray there won't be clouds at the horizon, because I mean, this is one of the shots we've tried to take the most, but has been impossible until now because of weather conditions. But
We don't
we'll
have
keep
an app
trying.
for the weather yet to change the weather.
Yeah. we have a problem
there's
here.
no app for that?
There is no app. There is no app. We're working on that. Actually, no, Herman?
Yeah.
I think it's pretty close. I think Herman is pretty close to an idea to control the weather too.
Weather and light pollution.
Well, for our viewers who are watching out there, the little pin is in the location that you would be taking the photograph to go through the bridge, which is on the left side. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
That's right.
Okay, and so you see the moon, yes, right there where the pin is. That's where you'd be standing in order to get the moon set through that beautiful natural arch. This is an amazing app. It really is.
Well, thanks. Thank you very much.
Tommy Lim, KW says, is PhotoPills support live weather conditions on the photography site? Now that's kind of over my head. Kevin or Jim, do you know what that would mean? Is PhotoPills support live weather conditions on the photo site?
I think he's asking if you're out there with PhotoPills in the location you're going to shoot, does the app give you live weather conditions? At least that's my interpretation. And I think probably not.
No, at the moment, no.
No. Okay.
We don't give weather information. It's usually provided by third parties. I mean, all the calculations that PhotoPills does, we don't take the information from any site. We just program it. We use the maths and we create it for PhotoPills, but we don't take information from outside sources.
Okay, thank you for answering that.
And well, if we have time, we can plan another shot if you want.
So, Jeff,
Yes.
how about, you're so famous for your Brody workshops, right? That's where it's the ghost town, right?
Yeah, Bodie State Historic Park, yep.
Okay, so can you give them an example where they could plan where the moon would be, or
actually, I think maybe a better one would be the one we practice with. They have a lighthouse, and I know a lot of the people in Google Plus, a lot of the photographers are in the Bay Area, and there are several lighthouses that they could plan shots around, like Pigeon Point and Santa Cruz. So I think that would probably be a good thing to do. And then if we have time, I have a couple of very short videos I could show, and I think people have some closing photographer recommendations too.
Okay, great. We'll get to your lighthouse planning.
Favarich. Let's go then.
Okay, so let's plan the lighthouse shot we've shown before.
This is Menorca.
Yes. And this is Favarich. Let's place the red pin on the location from where we want to shoot. This is the location of the Favarich lighthouse, you see here. So we want to calculate when the full moon will rise just behind the lighthouse, for example. So once we've just we just tapped on the find button, so we look for a moon at azimuth and elevation again. Let's set the azimuth of the moon by dragging the blue pin, and we will place it in the place where we find the lighthouse. Well, now we have the azimuth set. Let's set the elevation. Again, we want an elevation of 0 degrees because we want a moonrise. And just tap on the search button to find the results, to find all the possible dates and time. The moon will be rising just behind the lighthouse. What are we looking for? We want a full moon, no?
Yeah, full moon. Yeah, that one, for example.
Yes, this
So
is
March 17th, there's the full moon.
March 17th of
Yes.
2014, you'll get the full moon.
Yes.
Yeah, it's quite darker because it's astronomical twilight, but we can find one in golden hour 2 on September.
September 8th of next year, yeah.
Next year.
Yeah.
This is definitely pre-planning your shots.
Yeah. The goal is to have as many options just to go and try to take the shots you've planned, because weather conditions are can be really bad, and as many ideas you have, the better. So that's it. We have a moonrise just behind the lighthouse here in Menorca. So you know that at 20 to 8 p.m. on the 8th of September 2014, you'll have this shot.
That's wonderful.
Very cool. Do you want to just take a moment and explain what your augmented reality views can do?
Yes, of course.
I think that's unique.
We'll place the pin at our current location and daytime. That's
now. That's
now 4:46 a.m. So let's open the augmented reality tool. Now we are indoors, but these lines, the yellow one and the blue one, shows the current path of the sun and the moon. So right now, the moon, the sun is under the horizon, but it's here, and will rise just in that direction.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And the moon is also set. It's right there now.
So, but what we do with this, with the augmented reality, we use for the planning, we use the map, because the accuracy of the information displayed on the map is better. But when we are on the spot, we use the augmented reality to predict the angle of the moonrise or moonset we will have.
Parallax angle, but it's
and also we use it to try to estimate the moon's elevation or the sun's elevation, because this is one of the parameters that can be most difficult to calculate. When I want the moon just of a building, what's the elevation of the moon? So we can use the augmented reality in situ to calculate the moon's elevation, for example.
Yes, for example, we can start a find of a moon at azimuth and elevation, and instead of setting the both azimuth and elevation by dragging the pin or moving the blue icon, we can set it with augmented reality. We'll just tap on the screen where we want the moon to be, tap on done, and that will set both the azimuth and the elevation at the position we wanted the moon to be. We can do
another example. For example, we want the moon, let's say we are outside and we want the moon just at that corner.
Yes.
Over there. But
we are indoors.
What we do, we want the moon here. Right, so
we know that that point was 211 of azimuth, and 27 of elevation.
That's a really quick way to estimate the moon's elevation.
And these are the days that the moon would be on that corner of this room. For example, if you are walking down the street and you see a building, you could just tap on the screen, place the moon over that building, and start a search.
It gives new meaning to shooting the moon through the window.
Yeah.
This is landscape photography, but we are indoors now.
Well, I want to tell you that Russ Scullin is saying that it's very cool. So I think as our time's running short here, are we just about to finish up, and then we'll go back to Jeff?
Kara, I do have one last question.
Sure.
Can I assume for it to work properly, you need to have data connectivity? If I'm out in the middle of nowhere where I don't have any sort of data connectivity, how much functionality is there?
PhotoPills works perfectly offline. It won't need. It doesn't need any server or all data is calculated on the iPhone.
Yeah, we do all the calculation with the iPhone.
Except the map.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if you plan if you know that you're gonna be offline when you go outside, we recommend when you are at home to go to the planner and do a zoom in and a zoom out just right on the spot you're gonna be shooting or scouting, so that the map is stored in the cache memory of the iPhone. And it's the way when you are outside offline, you can see the map on the iPhone, so you can work.
Yeah, you can use the standard ones that Apple provides, the hybrid, the satellite, and the standard. But we also support OpenCycle and OpenStreetMap tiles, so you can catch them offline and then use them when you have no network coverage.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll let you, Rafael and Herman, finish up, and then we got about 5 minutes for you, Jeff. Will that work?
Okay, I mean, for us it's a pleasure to be here. So I just we wanted to thank you because this is a great opportunity for us. Thanks a lot, guys.
Well, thank you for getting up so early and for sharing your photo pills and explaining. I think it's a $10 app that I'm sure going to try. So thank you very much for your time. And now we'll come back here to Jeff, and we'll let you sum us up here.
You're muted, Jeff.
You're muted, Jeff. You muted yourself.
All right.
Better.
Better?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to show a couple of quick videos to show what you can do once you're turned loose with this type of technology. And let me go ahead and make this full screen. So this is that lunar eclipse. It was very difficult to find a place where the buildings were all out of the way, but I managed to find this spot. And in many of the places where the alignment would work out well, I would have had to have been out in a boat. But this was on the waterfront. I was able to keep my feet and tripod dry and get this shot. So I started shooting about 15 or 20 minutes ahead of when the moon would get near the building, and I just had to trust that my research was good. So I'll go ahead and play the time lapse here. And sure enough, it's moving with a couple of stars. Sure enough, it went right through the center of the top of the building there. Let's see if I can back up to that point. I'll just start it over and try to catch it again.
I don't know if anyone else is having an issue, but for me it's a black screen.
Oh no!
Yes, for us too.
I think I think we have a problem sharing YouTube on the screen share.
Okay. Good to know. Let me try. One of the things that might be a problem is I had it at full screen.
There, now we can see it. Now we can see it.
I had it at high definition as well, so let me see if this will work better.
Yeah, we can see it now.
Now it pretends it's playing, it's caching. There we go. So I started it a good 20 minutes or so early, and you can see I got it pretty well centered, but I forgot to take out the width of the moon. So, so next time the moon is about 1/2 degree wide. So next time I'll have to take out 1/4 degree, and I'll be a little bit more accurate. But it was pretty good for a first try.
Wow, it's really cool.
Thanks.
Very nice. Very nice.
And then for my next trick, let's see. Got to find the right.
We like
Here we go.
laughing in our shows. This is good. We like that, Jeff. Thanks.
Yeah. For my next trick, I'm not going to enlarge this one. I'll keep it small. Let me also switch off the HD, make sure it's not trying to download too much data. It's a shame I had cached it too, but let's go ahead and give it a try. So this is in Yosemite. This is a video I haven't released yet. And there's the moon coming up right next to Half Dome. When the So you get the general idea. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. You pick the object you want to see the moon rise behind. Maybe you want to tee it up on top, and you get to that place, and you can even set up a little bit early to either have the moon come up during the time lapse or have it cross your time lapse and end up on top of the building or object that you want it to be on. So you can really do some fun moon tricks and amaze your friends.
Really cool.
Very nice.
So that's the gist of it. And I guess we have a couple minutes. Do we want to go over some favorite photographers to wrap up, or?
Yeah, that's what we want to do. But before we go to our favorite photographers, Jeff, I'd like this is for a surprise for Jeff, but he does tours. Night tours, and Jeff, they're on our event page, all the links to your tours, but tell us about the next two that are closest to the time we're looking at now that people can still sign up for.
Actually, the next two are on the following 2 weekends. There's one this coming weekend at Bodie State Historic Park. It's a state park, so it's open for business, and they love to have us out there. We have I think 8 people on Saturday night for the night photography and 9 people for the next morning. We're going to do sunrise and interiors. They give us special access to about 5 or 6 buildings that are not normally open to the public, and they'll turn us loose with their cameras, so it's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, that's great.
The one after that is the following weekend, assuming that there's no major breakdown in the national forests. They've suspended in the national lands use of facilities, but my understanding is that the national forests you can still visit. So I do have a permit for that. You couldn't get a new permit even for camping or backpacking if you wanted to, but my understanding is my permit's still valid, so I'll be going out for fall colors in the Eastern Sierra, the Mono Lake area, and wherever the colors are. I live about an hour north of Mono Lake, so I'll be checking that out next weekend when we're going down for Bodie, and over the next couple of weeks.
Well, so that's great. Well, thank you for sharing that, Jeff, because I just want to encourage people that are watching to take a tour with a photographer who offers them. It's so, you learn so much. And so now it is our time to close our show with the photographers to watch. And Jim Worthman will share his screen, and I won't, I promise, cut you off till you're done.
Okay.
So,
right,
so
thanks,
Kevin,
Cara.
please accept my apologies, Kevin.
Okay. So, my recommended photographer is Alan Makrovich, and let me show you some of his work. He's a professional photographer based in the Pacific Northwest of the U.S. He does landscapes, nature, travel. If you look at his stream, you'll see a little bit of monochrome, but mostly color. And he does great landscapes from around the world, and he also has tours and workshops. So I would encourage you to take a look and circle him if you see what you like. If you like what you see, that too. All right, with that, Kevin.
Yeah, this is, and I don't know if I'm even going to try to pronounce his name because I'm terrible at that. But so we'll just go with his first name, and I'm not sure if that's right either. Dog or Dag. You can read his name there, though. And I always enjoy everything he posts. You can see that one, just a beautiful reflection and fall colors. And then there's another one. And that's just awesome. You got some fog down there, a waterfall, sunset, just about everything you could want in a picture on that one. So definitely check him out. And
what's his last name?
You want me to say that?
Why don't you spell it? Because we've got some people listening, and maybe just go ahead and spell it for us.
Because the links will be in the show notes, right?
Yeah, the links will be in the show
Yes.
notes, and it's OLE, and then yeah, it'll be in the show notes. So, and I hope he comes back and corrects me so I know how to say his name.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. So let's see, Cara.
Okay, I am really excited to share Sean Hudson's photographs of North Sydney, Nova Scotia. And he has just been participating in an amazing manner in all of our events. And this one with the point of view coming over the rocks with the light, and then seeing the cityscape behind, just what I would think Nova Scotia looks like. So just delighted to have Sean as a photographer to watch as he participates so much with our events. And then here with the nightscape and the reflections and just the drama in the sky. So Sean, congratulations on Photographer to Watch.
Gorgeous. Okay, let's see, Sheila, it's your turn.
Okay, my photographer to watch is Dave Tomac. He's in Melbourne. You know, this is kind of similar to the other shot that was shown, but like again, I just love the colors and how they popped against the night sky. No, it's just incredible. So
yeah, nice. Second.
It's like magical. I love his work. It's just like magic.
Yeah, and I just love how the flower just kind of just popped out in front of the. Just I can't explain why I like it. It's a stark contrast against the black background and the reflections. It just looks like this water's on fire.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Great.
Thank you. And last but not least, Tom.
Thank you. I picked Michael Russell, who's a photographer in British Columbia. Michael also manages the Mountain Monday theme. So a lot of his photographs focus on mountains, not surprisingly. So I enjoy, because I do a lot of that type of photography, enjoy seeing his work. Particularly in this one, I like the clouds and the reflection in the still water.
Wow, that is an amazing reflection, isn't it?
Yeah, very good.
Got one more here.
And here, this one in particular, I like the deep green colors, the flowers in the front, and then the peaks in the background. It really feels three-dimensional.
And the Mountain Monday that Michael does, it's one of my favorite themes, and he puts out a really awesome recap of it. So I like your pick, Tom.
I was surprised no one picked him before, actually.
Yeah, I thought he'd been picked, but I'm glad you picked him.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, I've got to switch windows here, but I have one from Jeff. If I can figure out how to switch. Okay.
If you want, I can do it.
No, it's okay. I think I've got it.
Oh, okay. Yep, you've got it. I'll take mine down. Go for it.
All right, you share with us, Jeff, why you felt this should be a featured photographer.
Franca Gobler lives in Mariposa, which is just outside the central entrance to Yosemite National Park. So she's up there all the time. She had her work featured in the art show they do in the park every year, the Yosemite Renaissance Show. It's very competitive to get into. A lot of professional photographers in there, and she really knows the park well and gets some great shots. She was able to join us for 2 of the many G+ photo walks I led last year. This one was from the Yosemite photo walk. We found a path going up the opposite side of the valley. This is not one of the normal views you see. It's an old road that's been wiped out by a landslide, but there's a path going partway up it. We were able to catch the moon, planning ahead, of course, coming up right over Bridal Veil Falls.
Gorgeous.
And yeah, it's really nice. It's just a shame we have to go back sometime when the moon comes up about 20 minutes earlier so we can get it balanced, but it's still a fun shot. I think another one that I want to show you is this one from our Eastern Sierra photo walk. This was probably, I want to say 12 or 15 or maybe 18 miles away from that peak, and yet I was able to plan the moon setting right into that little crack there in the top of the peaks. And we just missed the sunrise. There would be a little bit more light on the peaks if the moon had been setting about 10 minutes later and had been up in that orange band where the sun's approaching light is coming. Mm-hmm. So that blue that it's in is the shadow of the Earth, but it's still a stunning photo. The alignment worked great, and everybody had a great time. So, so I just wanted to give 2 more shots to get people excited to plan their favorite landmarks to set the moon behind.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
And we all love Broncos.
All right, we're done there. So I want to thank you, Jeff, for coming back. You're just really inspired a lot of people with night photography, and so it's fun to be learning together. And thank you to Rafael and Hermine for getting up at 2 a.m. Hopefully you'll have at least 5 purchases of PhotoPills here. I just want to play with it and see where the moon goes. So,
yeah, as soon as the Android version comes out, I will buy it the same day.
There's a quicker fix to that, Kevin, but we'll talk off.
Yeah.
Never gonna happen. Never.
I'd like to say thanks to Jeff very much, and also for introducing us to Rafael and Herman, and thanks guys for joining us. English was great, and I think we all learned a lot about PhotoPills.
And we had fun, and it's a lot of food for thought here. And so we want to invite you all to our next landscape photography show, episode number 21, and it will be on long exposure shooting. So those of you who've been sharing here on the moonshots can also come over and share. We'll have our event up and running and talking anywhere from seconds to what Jeff has been showing us. So we want to thank you all again, and we appreciate your participation in our events. We will have a circle of all of those of you who said yes, or maybe that you were coming. We will share that circle, and we will have the show notes with our show starters and our photographers to watch. And you all have a great evening, and thanks for joining us, and we'll see you on October 22nd.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks,
See you next
Tom.
time.
Thanks, Jeff.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.